Sergeant Doug Howell, who you'll see on his best behavior, admitted posting racist messages on social media.
Tonight at 6, disingenuous and disappointing. That's how African-American pastors are describing the punishment handed down to this JSO sergeant accused of posting racist messages on his social media pages. JSO launched an internal investigation last October after the News4Jax I-team exposed the officer's behavior online and his participation in a racially charged internal JSO text thread.
Tarek Miner broke the story, and he's joining us now with what else pastors have to say about this. He also spoke with our new crime and safety analyst, Lakeisha Burton. Tarek?
Former gang unit Sergeant Douglas Howell was accused of posting racist tweets like these here, where one of them he says that America's biggest problems are marijuana abuse and black people. He also called members of the LGBT community sick and demented, and he made disparaging remarks about Mexicans. So following a 6-month investigation by the Sheriff's Department, Internal Affairs found that Howell did indeed violate 2 counts of JSO's social media policy, but they did not find evidence to prove that his bias affected the way he does his job.
Did you tweet this stuff?
You're gonna have to go through this PIO.
Okay, you see that? There's some passages you said that the stuff that you tweeted was kind of racist or racially insensitive.
JSO Sergeant Douglas Howell admitted to posting the racially insensitive statements on social media, according to an Internal Affairs report released in its entirety by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. The I-team has learned Howell remains on the force as a sergeant. He's been reassigned from the gang unit, and part of his punishment was formal counseling. Bishop Rudolph McKissick Jr., who we spoke with about the story last year, calls the reprimand a slap on the wrist.
This was blatant racism. They're putting him back in the system, which means this kind of systemic thing will continue. I think it should have been called what it was, not a social media violation. This was racism. Call it what it is. You can't fix what you won't face, and you can't conquer what you won't confront.
McKissick tells News4Jax he's concerned about Howell's future interactions with minorities or members of the LGBTQ community he may encounter when he's on patrol.
I think it's disappointing. I think it's disingenuous, quite frankly.
According to the Internal Affairs report, JSO detectives found a preponderance of evidence to prove that Howell violated 2 counts of JSO's social media policy. Howell was also charged with bias-based conduct, and after interviewing 19 of Howell's subordinates with the gang unit, they found there was no specific evidence where Howell showed biased or discriminatory behavior or disparaged any JSO employee. News4Jax crime and safety analyst Lakeisha Burton says Howell's removal from the gang unit was the right decision, adding that bias is hard to prove.
With the bias-based conduct, you have to have a victim, someone who has been affected by this officer's behaviors as a result of his personal biases. So with the tweets, obviously, there is bias in those tweets, but is it directly hurting? Is there a victim as a result of it? No, it's not.
So the News4Jax I-team has also learned that Sergeant Douglas Howell has been reassigned to the north side. So we hear he's working in Zone 6. We've also learned that Howell continues to work part-time, providing security for a local apartment complex. Kent?